Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Elle. For those of you who are new here, really nice to meet you. For those of you who actually ended up clicking on this video, I can imagine you are finding yourself at the point of your lifetime where you have to choose what kind of practical experience you would like to get in this final year of your university. Or maybe you're already at your just first internship and you're not sure what kind of direction you should take for yourself. Well, I'm personally an alumni from Hotel School The Hague, which means I majored in hospitality management and I graduated just 4 or 5 months ago. In this video, I just wanted to share with you my own practical experience behind making a choice for the final internship the way I did, but also to show you the whole spectrum of different benefits, different downside and the positives of the two options that you might be choosing from. So in my world, the clear dilemma was, do I stay and do a second internship in the industry where I'm getting my education, where I'm getting my bachelor diploma in, or I choose something completely out of my comfortable zone and do something very, very different and very new to myself. And I will say it was not an easy choice for many reasons. To recap you back on what kind of options I was facing in front of me, for that you also need to understand a little bit of my personal experiences in the professional world. And I will say that by the time I had to choose a final internship, which is supposed to be on a managerial level at my university, I'm sure a lot of hotel school students are watching me and know exactly what I'm relating to. You have pretty much free hand to choose a final internship for yourself as far as you find it challenging, exciting. We do a lot of personality tests. We are doing a whole report on what kind of internship would we be considering for this final internship, on which we also write the career portfolio. To tell you the perspectives that I had, I've sent plenty of applications just to receive maybe a few interviews considering my experience, which was at that point around 7+ years in hospitality industry, primarily in front office operations, but I've actually holistically done almost the entire hotel apart from like engineering department. It was quite difficult to look for an internship because I wanted to do more. I wanted to include a little bit of the corporate into hospitality operation and try an office job. So my first option, to where I had to visit at least 3 interviews, was a position in finance department at a very, very, very well-known luxury hotel in Amsterdam. Not gonna reveal names here, but my primary option was to do finance just because my personality test said I was quite keen on working with numerical systems and doing analytical job. And I thought that this could be interesting just because I really never worked in finance per se. I've done a few days shadowing of finance, so which I also saw a lot of benefits for the future in a sense of stepping higher up and like growing inside the finance balloon in the hospitality industry. Also, I was quite interested in subjects like revenue management at the university, so this option sounded very solid. So say this option was option number A, and then suddenly option B appeared because I did want to try something different, try something new for myself, and that's how I stumbled upon an open vacancy of Yamaha Motor Europe called Trade Marketing and Events Intern, which directly caught my eye because just recently, March last year, I finished my motorcycle license, and you have another video on my channel here. And I was thinking, this sounds like something hospitality related, and the more I read into the job description, the more I found myself in this, knowing that I have perfect qualifications for an internship like this, though I don't think that they were directly targeting hospitality students, also because this position was just on LinkedIn, so it wasn't on any of our career fairs or career pages that our university facilitated. So looking through it, I thought, wow, this could be a potential opportunity for me to step out of hospitality completely, go into a motorcycle manufacturing industry, which is so far apart from what I've been studying for, yet at the same time the job description really resonated with me. So not knowing much about this position, I applied, and actually I got offered both of the jobs, and there I was thinking, what is the exact path I would like to take at this stage of my life? And in this video I just wanted to step by step talk to you about the pros and cons of both of the options, and also let you understand a little bit better the reasoning behind my decision of sticking with Yamaha Motors where I currently work. So let's talk first about hospitality as a more convenient and familiar concept. To me, a big benefit of this path would have been that it's very linear. So I would have covered yet another department of hotel operations, which is very much a supporting kind of team behind the scenes, but is crucial and essential to understand because that's how a hotel or how a business makes money. I also saw a lot of potential for staying in the industry because I know how relevant my education would have been if I would decide to stay in hospitality because of the lack of employees that the industry has been facing since the COVID period of time. And also the brand for which I would be working would still offer tremendous opportunities to grow and stay and then reallocate, and also this specific hotel for which I was applying would have given me amazing benefits in the future. And I'm sure if I would have done the internship grades, I would have had a chance to stay because employees in hospitality are basically rare. And then if we jump to the money aspect of this, there are two things to consider. First of all, the allowance for interns in hospitality in the Netherlands was increased recently to 800 euros. So that was already very appealing in the sense that you still have to pay rent, right? So that was money would have been above what the industry standard would be paying. And I think hospitality really did a good job by stepping up their game in the sense of compensation for the interns. I know that not in every country the compensation would have been at the level where this specific hotel was paying, but in my case the money aspect was very evident that it was a big plus. On the other hand, would I have gotten the job, and if I would be willing to stay after the internship, I know that my salary would have been still in the Horeca agreement levels, which is still underpaid on all possible levels of this. Compared to all the other industries, Horeca still remains one of the most underpaid industries out there. So nevertheless, having a degree, having had worked so many years, would have not increased my salary by a lot, and the average is still so low that it's not really motivational to be getting a job in hospitality, unfortunately, despite my absolute love for the industry in its core. Yet another benefit here, which is not really mandatory but is still a benefit to mention, which is all the F&B and hotel traveling discounts that you're getting as a part of a, say, loyalty program and the loyalty benefits that hospitality employees are getting while working for a hotel. Which is not to undermine, you can't really travel cheap, and this is something interesting for those people like me who love to travel and see new places, that it becomes so much cheaper to do it on the staff rates together with the discount at the F&B. And I would say the last motivational point to staying in hospitality, for me at least, in this specific situation would have been that every day in hospitality is extremely different than the other ones. So because a hotel has its own life by itself, you as a part of a company would always be jumping from one extreme to another extreme, to a quiet day to another guest that you need to deal with. So I think the beauty of hospitality is in its flexibility and dynamicness from day-to-day operations. But let's look at the other side. So on the corporate option that I had open in front of me, I didn't know what to expect. To be honest, this whole super new world was standing in front of me, which was quite terrifying. But I was also telling myself, hey, if I don't use this chance, I might also regret never doing it. So just for that sake, I was already very keen on understanding what the internship would imply, and I directly learned that, for example, I would be having 2 days working from home as an intern, which to me as a hospitality management student was such a luxury that I could have never even imagined, because in hospitality industry that's just not a thing, and I don't think we will be ever moving in that direction. It took me a while to just adapt to the fact that you can just wake up and start working immediately. It was a very new experience to me. And that also made the working environment very calm, relaxed, good pace. And when I say good pace, it means that you are able to set up your own tempo to work. So you work more on a project basis and tasks that you are assigned, and you kind of structure your own day. So you can do things fast and then have a little bit of a low time, or you can spread out your current tasks throughout the day and keep yourself busy for the hours that you're working. So that was also a very interesting dynamic in life, but it also gives you a lot of ownership for making good progress. I must say I really enjoyed working in that sort of manner, when it's just you, your computer, you can put some lo-fi music and then you do your thing. You're not really dependent on the operations or the craziness in the hotel lobby, for example. To sum up all the things that I just told you about, I think in general the work-life balance of a corporate job versus hospitality is like black and white. It's so much more laid back. A response time is so much lower and less urgent than hospitality I've ever seen, because everything in a hotel is here right now, the faster the better, but also keep the customer happy at any point of time. Because in a corporation of a big size, in a corporate job, you just have different working environment basically, so nobody expects you to respond on an email on the same day, and it's normal for a bigger response to take several days, for example. And that was also something that took me a while to adapt to. That also means that there is not much overtime going on, and that of course really depends what kind of department you work in. For example, trade marketing team that I ended up working, we do events. So for us, naturally, we have a few days when we are traveling to events, when we are working from the morning till the evening. But considering the fact that there's a lot of preparation time before that, it's still a very good tempo to set yourself ready for an upcoming event, which I really enjoyed. On the other hand, I would also say that I also saw this slow tempo as a kind of a downside, because it's also easy to slide into a little bit repetitive and boring, waiting for some email answers that could have taken just a call in a hotel, for example. And it's a much more common practice to just call somebody in a hotel rather than sending an email, and sometimes it can also get very low in sense of just waiting for somebody to come back to you on certain things that delay your own work. And the biggest downside, I think, for choosing a corporate internship, that there is a lot of politics involved into that. And I'm not gonna go too much into the details of this, just in general, when the corporation is big, it's normally having a very hierarchical structure, and that is something that you need to learn to play smart in order to be successful, or at least have some peace of mind, because you constantly need to adapt your ways to other people, understand what kind of position the person has, and usually also that increases the time in the communication levels between all of these components of a company. Though I must say it was also very interesting to have a company who is in its core Japanese, so we also have a lot of Asian colleagues, which make it exciting to learn, a different working culture while still working in the Netherlands. And I would think the last point I want to touch upon here when working or applying for an internship in a big corporate firm is that you cannot expect the salary or the intern compensation to be large, solely because they are comparing it and benchmarking it to all the other big corporations, and they just don't have a priority because of the big names that they have, and knowing what kind of experience they could give to you. The salary is at a very minimal level. However, when you do, or if you end up getting a job offer after your internship, you are directly stepping up your game above all of the colleagues that you might have seen during the hospitality internship. So if money is a big aspect of what you're looking for after your graduation, I would seriously consider looking for a corporate job that is within your interest scope and has the potential to welcome interns into the company after their internship. But of course, that's not something you can predict. All in all, when facing this decision, I will tell you it took me at least a month to come to a conclusion for myself. But what I was a little bit afraid of is that if I go to a corporate job, I might lose a little bit on the internationality of it, because that's how I love hospitality industry. But here I also learned, if you go to an international company, that aspect is covered. I would not worry a single second if you are going to a company that has an international background and has collaboration of different cultures in the core of it. Nothing to worry about in terms of moving from hospitality to a company like this. Finally, and the most important note I would like to give to you in this video is that your internship is going to be exactly what you want to make it. So whatever your aspiration is, the motivation, the attitude you're willing to bring to the internship, that's what's going to define how good of an experience you want to have. Of course, there are all these components that are going to be around it and formulate your internship, but key values and the self-ownership that you can bring to an internship place to really design it and tailor it to what you are expecting from the workplace. So go ahead and take a decision that resonates with you, that calls for the biggest challenge, the one that is daring to you, and do it for the person that you're willing to become in the future. So an internship is usually 6 months long to 8-10 months. It's gonna be a short period of your time, but I would choose for something that really allows you to discover a new side of yourself, or lets you try something different, or helps you to get to the point of becoming a person that you're willing to become. I guess that's gonna be where I'm gonna stop it here for today. I hope this was useful to you, or it was at least interesting to listen to my story of choosing an internship for yourself. Thank you very much for checking this out, and if you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I will see you in the next video.